finest. The Iron Grenadiers, lovers of Cobra and G.I. Joe, begin the march. You're going to a comic convention, the Greater Houston, Texas Pop Culture Power Shows. Don't be afraid. I was not finished with my field order and forgot to tell you that my Lieutenant Ed McMichael, executive producing partner of Pop Culture Power Shows, is also bringing to Houston, Texas, the creators, such as the genius Larry Hama, writer, artist, editor since the 80s, the creator of G.I. Joe, Cobra, and Wolverine comics. It was Hama, along with Burkhart, who realized that I, Destro, arms and munitions engineer, was deeply educated and literate, thereby giving me some of the most memorable classical lines of all the television history of dramatic cartoon dialogue. Only in the greatest of old comics and comic adventures were young people often introduced to good literature, even if accompanied by graphic illustrations and drawings. How else can he illustrate excitingly mine or the adventures of those hated G.I. Joes? The great Larry Hama has written and drawn not just G.I. Joes, but also Conan, Batman, Wonder Woman, X-Men, and much more. He'll be there, along with Roy William Thomas, great comic book editor, writer, and first successor to Stan Lee at Marvel as editor-in-chief. He was co-creator of Wolverine, Luke Cage, and Ultron, among so many others. And there's Andrew Wildman, the Wild Man, who has done it all in comics, games, and television. His childhood dreams were realized as Wildman drew brilliantly for Spider-Man, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. Now, there will be tons of local exhibitors and booths for those such as Bedrock City Comics, Comic Vault, the Houston Toy Museum, Lone Star Heroes, Comics and Toys, Super Happy Incredible Toys, Atomic Monkey Comics, and so much more. Again, let me tell you that there will be dining with Destro, panels, picture taking, and more fun than a bunch of surrendered G.I. Joes running buck naked across a swamp full of hungry crocs and dreadnoughts. They should be running to the Greater Houston Pop Culture Power Shows and Comic-Con. When? Friday noon, March 31st until Sunday evening, April 2nd. Don't forget, Arthur Burkhart as Destro will be there the whole time to greet ye. Remember, show him a picture of your Facebook membership in the group's Destro Diehards for everything Iron Grenadiers, and you'll receive a fabulous prize on the house from me, Destro. Where? The Stafford Center and Convention Hall, 10505 Cash Road, Stafford, Texas, close suburb of Houston, Texas. Tickets will be sold at the door through Ticket Leap or online at powershows.com. That's PWRshows.com. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Now this is Destro for Houston Pop Culture Power Shows, inviting you for the time of your life to relive again the great moments of your lives that sparked and enlivened your vivid imaginations. Hurrah! For the Pop Culture Show, come, you cosplayers, collectors, geeks, come see me. Come see me in Houston. Yes, Destro out. as Iceberg, baby, and I am customarily on a mission. We Joes know that them dang gone cobras are coming to Texas, my home. I love the state, but dang, it's too warm for me. Give me a 10 below Arctic breeze any day, brother. I need ice, baby, when I go hunting snakes. I am Master Sergeant Colonel Nash. My code name is Iceberg. I'm from Brownsville, Texas, and I like thrashing man-made cobras. From Friday afternoon, March 31st, until Sunday evening, April 2nd. The actor who portrayed me on TV, Arthur Burkhart, will be at the Greater Houston Pop Culture Power Show at the Stafford Center and Convention Hall, 10505 Cash Road, Stafford. A short distance from beautiful downtown Houston, Texas, baby. Check, check. Tickets for this great Comic Con will be sold at the door through Ticket Leap or online at popculturepowershows.com. Yo, Cujo, that's pwrshows.com. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Iceberg for Pop Culture Power Shows, inviting you, baby, and your whole family. Have a damn good time to relive those great moments of your lives that moved you and your young imaginations to life and the will to protect and guard our country. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I will be there watching over Arthur. And by the way, watching over you too. Yo, Joe, Iceberg, out.
You could accept the fact that the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. Biblical. What he means is Old Testament. Yeah, they are real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the sky. Rivers and seas boiling. 40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the sea rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
What is going on here? So we just had a disruption from Destro. Destro, this is something that has to do with March 31st through April 2nd, the Houston Pop Culture Power Show. That is March 31st through April the 2nd. Something about Arthur Burkhart, something about Destro and Iceberg. Listen, I am sitting there, I'm going bananas right now. I have no idea what is going on. Here we are. Listen, this is what you guys were preparing me for, saying that there was something that was going to happen. Listen, I'm in shock at the moment. What do you mean, Destro? Well, the first time, here it is once again. Anyways, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM at Sam NewsMan, all across social media. It is 11:11 here on the 18th day of March in the year 2023. Listen, I don't know what's happening. Is this what this Lord Blanket nonsense? The first time that I met Sergeant Slaughter, one of the things, I met Sergeant Slaughter years ago, and I asked him a specific question. I said, Sarge, when are they going to sit there and show the episodes, the classified episodes of Destro supplying weapons to the Joes? That's really all that I needed to ask. And of course, Sarge sits there and says, well, they'll never release those episodes. That's what he told me. No, that's exactly what he told me. And here I am all morning long. I've been sitting there doing everything here as I should be doing. And then all of a sudden, there's these disruptions. Something about a pop culture power show in Houston. Pop culture power show in Houston, March 31st through April the 2nd. We have our own GalaxyCon that is coming this weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Ribbon cutting ceremony at 2 o'clock. Politics and pints on Wednesday. But then you're telling me that Destro, the Mars Corporation, sits there and is able to disrupt the feed and say what is actually going on. Listen, at this point, I'm in a state of shock. you guys are sitting there telling me, right? Well, what do you mean? No, seriously. So Destro, here Destro is a weapons dealer. He's a weapons dealer, a weapons supplier. That's all he is. Destro is a weapons dealer and a weapons supplier. And what he's doing is he's not only supplying weapons to Cobra, but he is supplying weapons to the Joes. No, listen, that is my story. That is my story. I'm the one that was there on hand, on deck, right from the get-go. But yet here we have Houston Pop Culture PowerCon in 2 weeks on my birthday, April the 1st. Like I said, March 31st through April 2nd, April 1st. No, I'm not going to be there. But you're telling me that here we have Destro sending in feeds. Destro is sending in feeds telling us to be prepared and to come on down. But then we have Iceberg. We have Iceberg over there saying that he's going to be okay. That everything's going to be okay. Arthur Burghart's going to be okay. What? No, listen, I have no clue. I have no clue. All I know is that you need to sit there. If you're in the Houston area between March 31st and April the 2nd, you need to go to the Houston Pop Culture Power Show. Well, because that's what Destro said. Listen, are you going to sit there and say that Destro did not say that? Now, are you going to say that? You're going to sit there and just tell me that you're just going to sit around and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to listen to Destro. Well, you should listen to Destro. You should. Because here I am. Well, no. Well, of course. Of course, G.I. Joe makes it to the news desk. Destro is taking over Houston. Iceberg is saying the G.I. Joes won't let it happen. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go down. All I know is the communications have been disrupted all over the place, from top to bottom. And yet you're going to sit there and tell me, that the key to all of G.I. Joe isn't Destro. No, the key of G.I. Joe is Destro. Listen, if it wasn't for Destro, G.I. Joe wouldn't have the weapons that they needed to battle Cobra. And you know what? And I keep telling people all the time that Cobra gets a bad rap. Perhaps Cobra is the good guys. Listen, I'm not sure about that, but that's just me telling you what I'm saying right now here. Yes, once again, at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all over social media. No, Destro is the key. Destro has always been the key. He has always been the key to exactly what is going down. Once again, communication is disrupted all over the place. I'm not sure. You guys in the back, what? Scrambling all over the place. Listen, I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know is that Destro is the key. He is the key. Listen, I've said it over and over and over again. I'm friendly with Sarge. Me and Sarge are tight. Me and Sarge are super tight, and that's how it all goes down. You're right. No, listen, I tell you what, I'll be seeing him at Joe Fest. We can sit there, we can talk to him about this then. That's not until June. GalaxyCon is this weekend. Politics and Pints is on Wednesday. This is going to be a busy week. And you're sitting there telling me that Destro's in charge of it all? You're telling me that Destro's in charge of it all? No, listen, I don't want to hear anything you guys have to say. What do you mean there's a feed? Okay, so here I am live. I've had disruptions going on all morning long, and the live lines and the feeds have been disruption. And now you're saying that I've just patched somebody into the soundboard and they're ready to go. All right, well, so is there somebody there? Is there somebody there? Who's here live on the board? Caller, are you there? Somebody state your name.
Shut up, Lyle. You're talking too much. Man, I'm going to say you to God. Do you know who this is, Lyle?
Wait a minute. This is Destro. Destro. Listen, I just sit there and I played some feeds that were coming live from Cobra here on the radio.
Lyle, now shut your eyes. Understand something. Yes, Central Intelligence Agency, and yet FBI, and in the basement of the Pentagon, The G.I. Joe boss is attempting with Interpol to track me and triangulate my position. I am very near you, but don't know. No, you're the writer calls himself Sam NewsMan.
So all right, so I just had something patch into my feed, and they were talking about Pop Culture PowerCon, and it was talking about Pop Culture PowerCon. The GI Joe's Iceberg was talking about being able to be there to save the day. What is going on here?
Are you Sam News?
Yes, I am Sam Newsman, the most trusted puppet in media, the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by a real puppet. But here I am. I'm here live on the air with Destro after I just played.
Destro,
Well, you said your name was James. Wait, so is James McCullough? Wait a minute. So all I know, listen, all morning long, we're trying to triangulate that position right now. I have the guys in the back in the black suits all morning long, and they've sat there and they have told me communications have been disrupted. They said something about Cobra. I didn't want to believe it, but then now here you are on the phone, and now I need to know what is going on. What is happening in Houston? What is going on? What is the deal here?
Well, if you stop, I'll tell you. First of all, yes, this is James McCullough, the 24th layer Destro from Tarangas, Cameroon. I am somewhere right now in the United States, Michael. All that I know.
But wait a minute. Tell me.
Telling you. Well, it's not bad talking to a puppet of the mass media. Somebody's got your hand up your puppet's backside, all of your reporters. You know that I'm Scottish, so don't tell me about Happy St. Patrick's Day. Because you know something, we Scots are a different breed. You know that, don't you, Mayo?
Yes, I know. Yes, Scottish different than Irish. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully you and the Baroness had a great St. Patrick's Day.
That's fine. I'll celebrate it with you. Although I'm non-religious myself, me and the Baroness, we are not. At any rate, they're having another Comic-Con with that bum, that actor out of Burkhart, who thinks that he can imitate me. Because of the triangulation and because you're trying to find out where I'm coming from. I've got to make this better work. Do you understand?
No.
I'll answer them if time permits and my software permits me to talk.
Well, listen, before they try, I understand. I'm trying to triangulate your position. I'm not trying to do that. Listen, I'm not trying to do that at all. All I want to know is that in terms of Destro, you're saying that Destro is going to be in Houston on March 31st through April the 2nd. You know, the thing about Arthur Burkhart, and if I had to sit there and say something, you know that he is a classically trained actor. Listen, I've talked to him myself directly. And listen, I'm going to take up for Arthur just for a moment. You can sit there all you want to, Destro, and sit there and say everything you want to about him. But I'm going to tell you right now, between me and Arthur, me and him, we've sat there and we've sang scat jazz together and all kinds of different things. And you want to sit there and try to belittle his name, and he tried to say that he is trying to emulate you, but that's not the case. That's not the case. And I don't care what type of Cobra propaganda this is, but all I know is that here you are, you're disrupting all of the airwaves and trying to sit there and say that Arthur Burkhart is the one who is going to be at Houston imitating you. I can't believe it. Listen, I tell you what, this is incredible.
So something, Bio. You're a very strong little bio when you're 1,000 miles or thinking 1,000 miles from me, you know. You're not. You're just a puppet next to me.
You know, the little ragged doll, all of you humans are. Now listen to me. Yes, Woodcock will be in Houston. I will not be, but he will be there, probably imitating me, probably trying to sign his name to those little pictures that you have of me. But I allow him to do it because, unlike you, Bio, he's a damned man. I can say that for him. Now, let me tell you who else is going to be there. Would you like to hear that?
Go ahead and tell me who else is going to be there. What does your intel tell you?
My intel tells me that Greg Burger, Greg Grimlock, Skyfire, long haul out back in Transformers is going to be there. He was Colonel Reclock, Cutter, Firefly, Ripcord, and Sparks, and Spirit. He was also the voice of Mysterio, the Joes, that is. He was also the voice of Mysterio and Craven the Hunter from Spider-Man animated series of the 90s. My darling Morgan Loughlin plays my love, my wife, my badness, my bride, is also going to be there. Yes, he will be there. Morgan Loughlin. And, buddy, that knucklehead, Jack Hoffman. I know who he is. He did do one thing right in his life. He played that backstabber of a mercenary Dark Time of the G.I. Joes, 83 through 86 and beyond. And there'll be a full-line comic theater like Roy Thomas Williams. Roy Thomas, no, 998. Roy William Thomas. Roy William Thomas, comic book writer, editor. Stanley's first successor, editor-in-chief, Marvel Comics. Shut up, Sam. I'm going to get finished. He's best known as co-creator of characters such as Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Morbius Vision, Ultron, and like me, Iron Fist. Thomas was inducted into the Will Eisner Disney Comic Book Hall of Fame in 2011. Big deal. I am known throughout the world, even the cosmos. Finally, Larry Hama, the genius, whom I told all of my tales to. Yes, Larry Hama, who wrote G.I. Joe and Wolverine comics in the 80s and 90s. My biographer. It's also written and edited, drawn for and drawn. A lot of people don't know that, but he's a great artist. For Avengers, Conan, Batman, Wonder Woman, X-Men, Spider-Man, and Turtles. His illustrations and cartoons were appeared in National Lampoon. I think that's funny and hard, huh? And finally, Drew Wildman, Andrew Wildman, the Wild. That's a pleasure of working in comics, games, and television. I got a good heart. Some were childhood dreams for him, such as Spider-Man, X-Men, and of course, G.I. Joe and my adventures in Cobra on Marvel Comics. Well, he's also worked for Transformers Universe. Did you know that Bob Burkhart was in Transformers too, along with Frankie Wilcott and Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime. They're friends of his. One more thing before I go. Comic Monkey Comics, Bedrock City Comics, Comic Vault, the Houston Toy Museum will be represented here. Certainly hope that people from the East Coast can come out to the Houston Pop Culture Power Show and see Arthur Burkhart and the other folks who are coming there talking about all the work that's done, Cobra, to destabilize the world order, which should be mine, yes, mine, and is still in the hands of those hated G.I. Joes. There will not much longer. I'm coming back. I haven't told you anything yet, my love, but I am coming back from far. Yes, I will be. The location for this convention will be 10505 Cash Road, Stafford, Texas, near Houston, very close to Houston. In fact, it's a stone's throw. Well, by all, right, Burger, Morgan Lofting, Zach Hoffman, and that bomb dares to impersonate me, Arthur Burkhart, will be in Houston from March 31st until April 5. And they're going to have a little dinner for him and for them, featuring Destro. How dare they, the impudent asses, the impudence, the condescension to imitate Destro. I tell you, it is not the killer man, dead in the first time. Well, now, you have questions for me, I understand, Mario. I think that's enough out of me and the Houston Pop Culture Show, right? What else do you want to know?
Listen, I tell you what, the one thing that I want to know, you're talking about G.I. Joe. We're talking about Pop Culture Power Show. That is going to be the weekend of March 31st through April the 2nd. And there's, of course, information about that. I talked to Ed McMichael. We were talking about that just last night. But one of the things that the audience really wants to know is the same thing that I want to know. And that is the very first question that I asked Sergeant Slaughter years ago. Now, I've been to these conventions. I've seen these people that are there. And Sergeant Slaughter shows up all the time. But one of the things, as you being a weapons manufacturer, we all know what weapons manufacturers do. They create weapons. They create weapons for both sides. But the reality is that the only side that anybody ever saw in the 80s was the side of you supplying weapons to Cobra. Now, we all know, because we all are very astute here, and of course I am the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. So here I am. I'm sitting there. I want to know, Destro, is the same thing I asked Sergeant Slaughter. There are classified episodes of G.I. Joe of you supplying weapons to the Joes. Now, if everyone wants to give Cobra a bad rap, I'm not sure if that's the case. Cobra might actually be the good guys. In fact, that might actually really be the case. But here we are in 2023. I asked Sergeant Slaughter several years ago if those classified episodes, now, once again, I believe that the G.I. Joe episodes that we have received are nothing more than propaganda, because all they do is show you supplying weapons to Cobra and then painting Cobra as the bad guys. But we know that weapon manufacturers do supply weapons to everyone across the board. So the audience does want to know is that, will those classified episodes of you supplying weapons to the Joes ever be released?
No. The only thing I'll tell you is that the Joes, Stalker, Slaughter, and my generals and me, and Cobra Commander, we're facing a common threat. And the weapons that I owned and that I developed were far superior. We never created germs, by the way, because that's a cowardly way out. I'm a Sharia buyer. I believe in honesty and decency, even on the battlefield. I'm a knight. The someone who supplies germs and plutonium to rot your bones, is filth. We were facing a huge threat. I'll fight the Joes. We're on common ground against them. We had a threat, and I will make tell you what it is. It will be seen. They're coming. Let me say this. They will release it one day. Not know. That is something that I have thought quite about. Yes, I let them have some things that were very powerful, and put them on my I made them equal, so that we could fight this common threat. When the enemies of a common threat, they band together, Bio. Something that maybe you never understood. When you have a common, you fight it with everything you've got it. I am 24th Laird of Scotland, Canada, Scotland. And if you're really Scottish, Bio, you'll understand this. I'll say it slowly, Pat. If your people can understand that, then they're Scottish. Not I. You know, Irish. What is Irish? In Scotland, we still fight the English. We Scots and we Welshmen still fight the English. We're not afraid. Ever of us, we're not afraid. That's all I'll be telling you about that episode or about that episode of my life. Yes, we did. And I still fight Sparta today. He's got me tools. But we've developed something greater. That's what the goes. Right now I'm underground. Not quite underground, as you know, I think. But underground in terms of being away from it all. I might go in a little while. You know why? Because the Central Intelligence Agency is getting a little closer to me. I can see it. I can see it. Don't you know that my mouth is powerful? We're still in it. Yes. I will be back soon. Is there anything else that you want to ask me about, son?
No, listen, I'm just glad that you were able to allow us just a few moments to know that Arthur Burkhart and also Larry Hama, Randy Edelman, Randy Emberlin, Angel Medina, Andrew Wildman, Roy Thomas, Morgan Lofting, Zach Hoffman, and Greg Berger will all be at the Pop Culture Power Show. That is March 31st through April the 2nd. And also Arthur Burkhart, who will be impersonating you.
You're making this a commercial. Yes, you should be talking about me, Bio. Why are you doing this commercial? Smack that off the back on my skin. Oh, I'm telling you. Well, never mind. Listen, get a defense secretary in the United States to get closer. He's fighting. I like him, by the way. But he's not quite as strong as I am. Even with all his parts as arrayed, yet not as strong as Cobra!
And like I always say, Cobra are the good guys. So, as far as all of that's concerned, Destro, I want to thank you for calling in and allowing us just a moment to know the truth behind the story and giving us all a behind the scenes look, a look behind the curtain, if you will, behind what it really means, not to be an agent of Cobra, but to be the most powerful weapons dealer in the world. Destro, thank you so much. And we will be looking out for Houston Pop Culture Power Show and making sure that Iceberg is there to protect Arthur Burkhart.
Thank you, Bob. This has been Destro. Out!
So there we go. So Destro is calling in. Destro calling into the show, telling us that Pop Culture Power Show in Houston, that is March 31st through April the 2nd, and that Arthur Burkhart will be there impersonating him. Because, well, you know, one of the things that's very interesting, maybe I'll ask him this next time, of whether or not, listen, does he get a cut of that check? Does that money that Arthur makes off of his signature, are those the things that funds Mars? Because those are the questions that we'll have, and we'll get to them soon. If not next week or the week after, no, not next week, we'll be at GalaxyCon. But the week after that, we'll make sure that we'll try to see if we can call, maybe we'll call in Arthur Burkhart himself and say, listen, we had Destro saying that he was going to come after you. He was going to come after you. But this is absolutely incredible, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we have one more PSA. We have one more PSA coming from Destro. I'm going to be back in a few moments. This might run a little bit over here at noon, but we're going to get out of here once again here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet, that just got a live call-in from Destro himself. Pop Culture Power Show, March 31st through April the 2nd. We have GalaxyCon, March 24th through 26th, next weekend at the Richmond Convention Center. And of course, Politics and Pints, which is already sold out, that you can follow us. Follow me at Sam Newsman all over social media to get updates on that. However, you just heard from Destro himself that this is a very complex situation. And we will be back in just a few moments. Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond, you're listening to 90.1 FM. Download the Live 365 app so you can hear Destro's PSA and also the G.I. Joe theme song. Here on the only radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning.
Attention, this is a Destro reminder. From Friday afternoon, March 31st, until Sunday evening, April 2nd, the actor who portrayed me on European and American television, Arthur Burkhart, will be at the Greater Houston Pop Culture Power Show at the Stafford Center and Convention Hall, 10505 Cash Road, Stafford. Coin toss from Houston, Texas. Tickets for this great Comic-Con will be sold at the door through TicketMeet or online at popculturepowershows.com. That's PWRshows.com. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Destro for Pop Culture Power Shows, inviting you to the time of your life to relive those great great moments of your lives that gave you and your young imaginations life. So don't be like my dear Amanda and impudent ass. Come see me. Hoorah! Destro out.